This is Melanie of Pardesi Reviews, and I'm joined with Kathy of Cinemana Podcast.
Yay.
We're going to talk about a classic film, a Telugu film called Manam, which means us. And it stars the Akkineni family. So you have A&R playing the grandfather, you have Nagarjuna, and then you have Chaitanya. And to just confuse everything, they rotate names of their characters. So A&R is Chaitanya, Che is Nagarjuna, and Nagarjuna plays Nageswara Rao.
I know. I'm kind of glad I didn't know that before I watched it.
They rotated their names. So we're not going to talk about character names. We're just going to talk actor names because I cannot keep it straight.
Never keep it straight.
So we're recording this. It's holiday time in the U.S. And I described this film as a warm cup of cocoa.
I'm like, it can't be nice. I like to watch a nice movie. Start watching. Oh my God.
Starts texting me during the movie.
I'm like, there's this terrible fatal car accident that kills the two main characters. I'm like, wait, am I watching the right movie? Where's the warm cocoa thing? And then they had not one but two fatal accidents in this film, if not more. Or there's three, I'm not even sure, but there was some tragedy.
You cannot have reincarnation without death, Kathy.
So make it as violent and hideous as possible. It was so
they
good.
Have to die a fiery crash, car crash death, and then they can.
And I love how they shot it. Like, it's not even a spoiler, you guys, because this happens literally in the opening scenes, where the car flips. It's this terrible accident. He sees his wife bleeding out next to him. He's trying to save her. He looks out his window. We're seeing his point of view through the window, and there's a big truck headed right to his face.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
As you do.
Hey, at least he saw it coming. Can't say.
Cocoa all the way.
I'm like, I need a lot more than cocoa to get through this movie.
Well,
but then it settles down a little bit.
Then it settles down.
Yes, it settles down.
I mean, the action takes place over, I think it's supposed to be over 100 years because A&R, the actor, doesn't come in until almost right before the interval portion.
Yeah.
And when we get his backstory, his parents, he's supposed to be, I think, 80 in the film. I think he was almost 90 in real life.
Wow.
And so it goes way back into the first part of the 20th century for his parents' love story. So we had multiple people whose parents died when they were a child.
I know. It's like, what?
And then later in life, they see their parents reborn and try to get them back together again. And that's the part. I love that there's just all these multi-generational romances. I feel like we get multiple love stories. And so that's why it's a warm cup of cocoa for me. Because it's not just one love story. It's all of these love stories.
Yes.
And I do like all of these actors as well. When the first time that I saw Manam, I had never seen, I don't think, anything that A&R had done previously. Now, I mean, he has been in huge blockbuster films back in the 50s and 60s, 1960s. He was in Maya Bazaar. He plays, the hero of Abhinyu. And then I actually, when I was doing thing for APP Dasham channel, we were doing reviews of old classic Telugu films, and I watched his Devadasu without subtitles. Okay, but which is from the 1950s. And because I know the story so well, having seen other versions of it, I could follow along what was happening. And he does an amazing job as this, drinking himself to death character. And so that's why the first time I saw the film, there's this extended drinking scene between all three characters. Yeah. And I didn't really get, why are we lingering on this? Why is this scene taking so long? It's not funny anymore. Mm-hmm. Now, after seeing Devadasu and seeing the grandfather sneak the drinks and then start stumbling around, I was dying.
So funny. It was very cute.
Very,
I know. It was very cute. It was a very, very, like, there was a big, heavy feeling of nostalgia throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there was a clip, like, from an old movie I think that they show in there. Or am I thinking of a different movie? Is this the right movie? There's an old clip of a black and white film. Is that tied in somehow with some of the actors? Because
it could have been. I don't know. I don't remember specifically that scene, but
okay. But I like the idea of, like you were saying, the multi-generational aspects of it. So when you see the two people who are supposed to be together who don't know it yet, and just that sort of like, this is gonna be a weird. It kind of reminded me of Back to the Future. You had to make sure that your parents get together.
I think when it was talked about, people did kind of compare it to that. And I don't think it's an exact, one-to-one relationship to that script at all, but it does have a similar kind of feel. Like you feel the concept of wanting to try to make sure that your parents get together is the same from the two.
It's so cute. And I like, because it kind of drives home too, like the for two people to meet and like fall in love or whatever, it just has to be the perfect timing, the perfect circumstances. You have to make sure they see the best in each other. Like, it feels very complicated. Like, I like how they showed it. Like, it's not necessarily something that's for sure going to happen. So there was a little element of suspense, even though you knew it would probably work. It was still like, are these people going to actually get together? Because they don't seem interested.
So right.
That's what I really liked. I'm like, how is he going to manufacture this? Because
and like Chaitanya as the goofy college kid, you're like, is he?
Oh my god, he was hilarious.
It's like he's like such a goofball. You're like, is he even worthy of me?
I know, it's like, really, you want this guy? And I love the scene on the plane where he's on the plane. He's become the main character is a very successful businessman. His two parents were killed in the car wreck. So he sees this guy on the plane that looks just like his dad.
Yeah.
And he's like you said, a doofus. He's got the headphones on. He's all rocking out in the seat. He got the hat on. Looks like Mr. Cool Dude. And he's like checking out the stewardess's butt as she walks by. And he's all like, you want to know why men always let women walk first? My God. He was just disgusting. And so the guy's like, oh, my dad. And he's being all weird about it. So he's like trying to get a picture.
It's like, can we take a selfie?
The guy's like, whoa, not like that. So he thinks he's coming on to him. That was a fantastic scene. I love that they.
I know, it's like because he pushed the cheeks together, right? And he's like, what?
It's like, no, dude. I think you're nice, but no. It's so funny. So I really enjoyed that. They definitely played it for laughs, and he was fantastic. It's just a doofus.
Yeah,
did not expect that. But I did like the sort of epicness of it, because we had, like you said, like this revolving, like generations of it happening, and so it was very cool to see different ways that this played out. It eventually became a relatively Coco kind of movie. Eventually we got there.
Well, I loved seeing, because these actors are all in a family, they have this natural chemistry and
so cute.
The way they could just banter off each other. And I love that they kind of, I was just reading the Wikipedia article, evidently, A&R, the senior actor, legendary actor, when he read the script, he added some things. First of all, he came up with the title, which I think is amazing. And then he also felt like the second half needed a little extra comedy touch. So he kind of made that there was this thing between the grandfather and the grandson, right? That they were always kind of antagonistic. And so that was kind of his idea to add that in. I also love Nagarjuna, the whole flashback scene, which is in the early 20th century, where
that was great. Oh my
God.
God.
He's just like sees a girl in a picture and like, that's who I want to marry, but then she has no idea their whole storyline, where it's like this mistaken identity, and she thinks he's this poor guy, and they fall in love through working together on this farm. And then it was Nagarjuna's idea to have the reveal at the wedding itself, that the sheet goes down, and then she finds out that she really married the man that she had fallen in love with. I'm like,
so cute. I love that. I know, that was really sweet. I love that. And just even the styling, everything about that was really well done. It was a nice little break in between everything. I really liked that.
Yeah. So the director of this film is Vikram Kumar, And you and I have actually seen one of his previous film to this was 24. So that, or actually, I mean, this one may have been before 24. So another one that we loved and also had sort of time travel kind of.
Yeah, it's true. He likes to do these kind of like time intensive narratives.
And different generations. And
very
whatever,
interesting.
But, yeah, but I would think about how many fun comedic moments and heartfelt moments are in 24, even though it's this sci-fi, fantasy action epic, but it also has all of these wonderful human romance moments and everything too. So yeah, I mean, it's like I'm not sure that I have seen his other films, but I was like, when I saw that he did 24, like, oh yeah, I knew I liked this guy.
Yeah, because he brings in like there's that artifice of the narrative, which we're trying to get the parents together over and over again. That's kind of happening, but there's still this genuine emotion. Like the actors, you can tell like they are really comfortable with each other, and you really care. Like it's amazing to me they make you care and feel the suspense, even though it's probably a foregone conclusion that they will get together.
Right.
But it's still like there is still this element of like you're rooting for them. You just feel that like come on, oh, what's going to happen? How is it going to work? I like that he's able to bring that, and he did that with 24 also, where you were invested, even though it was very tricky, and you're having to relate to different characters sort of as themselves in different times, which is already kind of complicated. You still do, and I feel like that's like actors and writing. Like you got to have all of that. So even though it felt like, oh no, it's gonna be a lot of this, you're like still just like totally in it, going along with it. Like he had me the whole time. I was like, this is so good.
Well, I have a quibble though, because so the Nagarjuna character, as you said, is this fantastically wealthy businessman, right? Like he's on the cover of Forbes magazine, whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we ever figure out what he did, but whatever. He's super successful.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
He's got a big house where he can just invite people to come live with them, and it's no problem.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, when he has the interactions with Chaitanya, who plays his, the doofus college student, but also his reincarnated father. Right. Okay, those are kind of touching, and you can be like, okay, he's mentoring this young college kid, whatever. Like, it's not so weird. But then when he meets Samantha Prabhu, who is his reincarnated mother, who is also a college student, a little creepy. Okay, like
right. That did. And actually, funny, both of them. A guy like this coming on to you like this, like you understand what he's doing, but stepping back for a second and seeing that, you'd be like, why are you buying me a car? Like, why?
Right. Okay.
Like, what do you want in return for these favors?
Young college student girl. Okay, if it's one thing if you find she's not living in a good situation, whatever. You're helping her out. There's certain things that weren't so much over the line. Yeah. But then when you see the scenes of, it's my buddy, it's my best friend, and, he helped me on my task. Okay. But then to see the scenes of him handing over the keys to the fancy car, I'm like,
I'd start getting worried at that point. Like,
because that's before she has her revelation where she realizes she's the reincarnated mother. I'm like, this is a little bit shady. This is a little...
I could see it being kind of like you almost wouldn't want to see it because you're like, no one's been this generous, just giving her all this help. And then you see that and you're like, okay, I'll take the car, but let's see what happens. But they don't really go into because he's kind of, they paint him as kind of this kind of super nice guy goofball in a way. Like even he's like, you're still like, nah, man. No. But yeah, you're right. There was a little bit of that. I think they were trying
they played with that a little bit when he's on the plane with Chaitanya, right?
But he's like, no.
So they joke about it a little bit there about how he's a little too intense, a little too,
a little too.
But they never really, he's calling her Amma. He's calling her mother through the whole thing, which again,
which also
how is a college girl react to that? Like,
I know. I'm just like, you're saying, oh, he's an eccentric millionaire. He's like this rich guy. He's got his little weird things, but hey, he's helping me out. I'll take it. I know it was kind of weird. You're right. And then you just kind of get used to it.
I don't know. Like when you're in the film, it's such good vibes that it's just one of those things that you just let slide and you just ride with the film. Because you as you said, as an audience, we know he has no romantic interest in her whatsoever.
Right.
And so I guess being Back to the Future, it's sort of like, you know, when his mother is coming on to him and calling him Calvin because she can see the name Calvin Klein on his underwear. Like, we know they're not going to get together. We know they're not, you know, nothing's going to happen, but they play with that, you know.
It's a funny idea, though. Yeah.
You know?
He's just trying to help.
He's just
trying to get her to fall in love with Crispin Glover, which is, you know, if you had your choice. I love Crispin Glover, but I would take Michael J. Fox any day over that. He's just too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a very earnest film. They had a lot of really cute things, and you know, I thought it was really fun. I like the way they were able to bring something new to each little iteration of each little format, you know, each way they were trying to make it work, and the time frame was really nicely produced. Like they did a lot with fashion and hair to make you know where you were. You know, they made sure you were clear, so it was actually really sweet. I liked it.
Even if it starts out with car crash deaths, but
one of my first notes is I like the Arya Singh song was really sweet. That was my first note. Like I was kind of like, okay, there is a very cute song in this, but yeah.
I did think the songs were good. And then if you didn't catch it, at the very end, there's a cameo. Like there's a person on a motorcycle who I think averts the final car crash, and that's actually Chaitanya's brother Akhil. So I think that was it. You know, one of his first appearances on film, and it was the grandfather that was like, I want everybody, like, even if you can be in it for the whole thing, like, give him something so that he can say he was in a movie with his grandfather.
But that was like a major, like that was a great entrance scene. Like also you're like, wow, who is this? And then it's just like, hi. It's like, wait, whoa, where'd he go? What's happening?
So I don't think you and I can fully appreciate, because A&R, who played the grandfather, was like I said, he turned 90, I think, during the production of the film.
Wow.
And I think he had a surgery coming up, and he told his son, he's like, I need to do the dubbing now, just in case my voice changes or something happens. And so 2 weeks later, then he passed away. So he finished the dubbing. And so he died before the movie came out, while it was in production.
That's sad.
And so I think this was his very last film.
Yeah.
And so I think for Telugu audiences, you know what I mean? Like, they can't just look at this film as just a film, because it's just one of those special things, like our special last gift from this legendary actor.
That's right.
And to be such a warm, fun performance as well, you know, and the fact that he was with his family. I don't know. There's just so many layers of specialness, I think, for a Telugu audience watching this film, and how they reacted to it when it came out. So I think it won film awards. You know, I mean, it is a really good film. I mean,
it is.
Even if you didn't know the backstory of who everybody was, it's still a really good film.
It is. It was really.
It just has another layer on top. You know, these are all real family members.
And that did make it cooler. Like knowing that they were all doing this one big movie together. It was very cute. Everything about it is so cute. Speaking of cute, we have, look at him in his overalls.
I know. This was the poster, I think, that came out during the production to kind of tease it. And I love it.
And the dog.
How much do you love that A&R was willing to?
I know. He's the one in like the doofiest clothes. And then we have the dog actually gets a tux, but he gets overalls. So it was actually really funny. Right.
Well, and Chaitanya having this he's kind of seated as if he is the patriarch of the family, right? Yeah. And he's, you know, not that old when this movie was.
I know.
So it's just the whole framing of this poster. I love it. It's great. Such adorable.
It's a great like shot. They had to shoot that. And then there's this poster, if you want to look at that.
Yeah. This is the famous one that you normally see.
Yeah.
But it's also really special. I mean, it's like, here's Chaitanya like doing the dad thing that maybe he never got to do with his son, right? You know, teaching him how to ride a bike. So
I know, and he's an adult.
With the mustache.
I love that. That was so funny. It's a nice little painterly effect on there. It's cute. Very nostalgic and dreamy, which is very cute.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I loved exploring these movies with you, Melanie, because you always pick out the good ones. Like I wouldn't know where to start with these great classic films. So I'm always up for any suggestions. So you guys put in the comments, but also Melanie will keep good care of me because I know she'll give me the good ones.
Okay, I would love recommendations from people. I'm already a fan of Chaitanya. Part of the reason why we watch this is he's got a film coming out with Sai Pallavi in February. But I would love for our viewers to let us know, what is your favorite A&R film? Like I said, I've seen a couple of his classic films, but is there, besides Maya Bazaar and Devadasu, is there another one that's a real favorite of yours that I should try to watch from maybe a romance or something, or a comedy? I would love to know one of his classic films. And I've seen quite a few Nagarjuna films, but maybe not so many of him as a young leading hero. So if anybody has a favorite Nagarjuna film that I should check out, let me know.
We'd love to know. Tell us.
All right. Thanks, Kathy, for joining me again. You know, you have to subscribe everywhere to watch all the content that we create together.
That's right.
So we, Kathy is on Cinema Podcast. You have to also subscribe there to see all the crazy things that we're doing together.
Melanie's over there all the time, so come on over. Check
trailer reactions, song reactions, and in-depth film discussions as well.
That's
all right. Thanks. Bye. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Kathy.
Everybody.